Sport Talk right here on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Emmanuel Michael. Glad to be here to bring you up to speed with the happenings in the world of sports. Top on our menu this morning, Hooper's coach acknowledges pressure ahead of basketball Super 4. In the world of tennis, Italy edge closer to defending Davis Cup title. Coming in for the Hakimi, reign supreme in CAF Gala Night Award. Details of this and many more will be yours after the short time out. All right, you're welcome from that short break. Kingsley is here this morning. Kingsley, good morning and welcome to Sport Talk.
Mike, thanks very much for having me. Nice to be here.
All right, let's start from the home scene, from the world of basketball, because Rivers Hoopers head coach Ogo Daudu is releasing the challenge of chasing a third straight Nigerian Basketball Premier League title when the 2025 season Final Four phase hold from November 21st to 23rd in Port Harcourt. The club won back-to-back league titles for the third time in their history by claiming the 2023 and 2024 Nigerian Basketball Premier League titles unbeaten, and will look to become only the third club to win 3 consecutive championships in the history of the Nigerian Basketball League. Lagos, Eastland did so in 1997, 2001, and then Canopilla also followed the same faith. Kingsley, Rivers Hoopers coach is releasing the big champ, becoming the third club to win 3 consecutive basketball titles. The 4 remaining teams are teams that Hoopers need to be careful about, especially for teams like Lagos Legends. Do you see Rivers Hoopers hitting this mark of making it 3 in straight?
I think it's difficult when you take a look at how the competition has been. All right, it's going to be a difficult road for Rivers Hoopers. Like I that day, it's not going to be business as usual for Rivers Hoopers. It's not going to be the same way we've been seeing this in the previous seasons, where you see them just having the ticket for the Basketball African League. This is not going to be the same. Taking a look at the way Lagos Legends, they've stepped up their game. About City Chief, you can also write off Nigerian Custom at this point in time. It's a very tough road, of course, for Rivers Super. But I just hope that the lesson, looking at how they struggled against the likes of Lagos Legends and Boko City Chief in Final 8, I just hope they've learned their lesson and they'll be able to implement, those positives in the Final 8, and then see how they can, of course, impressive performance, in this Final 4. Else, I tell you, it will be a difficult one, for Rivers Hooper. I'm loving the competition because we need in basketball down here in not when only one team, of course, will always dominate, all the time. It becomes, sometimes it becomes very, very boring. But when the competition comes like this, it keeps on their toes. Everybody will be on their toes to want to see who gets this at the end for the day. So talking about Rivers Supers, of course, winning this one once again, it's going to be a difficult road due to how intense, of course, the competition and how prepared the teams are.
Their first game comes up tomorrow, Friday. Do you see them starting off with a win? Because their last game is going to be against the only team that have not lost a single match in this competition, which is Lagos Legend. But then it starts with their first game. Do you see them winning their first game come tomorrow?
Definitely, I think they have to win. They have to win. It's going to be, I think, a round-robin format. So you starting with him is really very, very important at this point in time. So Rivers, they have to win their first to make not just chance, of course, that comes down. So utilize every game to start to pick tickets to train. The demo starts, points as soon as possible, right from the first we'll be seeing tomorrow. It's going to be difficult because when you take a look at it, these teams, they, from what we're seeing, they're not playing anybody at this point in time. Whichever way you want it, they are ready. So River Supers, they shouldn't take chances. Utilize opportunities and see how, of course, you can support it side, because if Lagos look like City Chief, and now how to come to it's easier. From it's kind of be put up a very, very impressive performance. So for me, I see River Super starting with a win tomorrow.
River Super starting with a win tomorrow. Meanwhile, beyond these teams individually contending for the Nigerian Premier Basketball League title, the big and the supreme prize is about picking the ticket for the Basketball African League. This should be the most of these 4 teams remaining. Now, if you take a look at the strength and the squad of Rivers Hoopers vis-a-vis the squad of Boko City Chiefs, Lagos Legend, Nigerian Custom, which of these 4 teams do you think is going to give us a good representation in the Basketball African League, because we should be looking beyond the Nigerian League, because whosoever get to win this title get the ticket that is going to represent not just Rivers Hoopers or Boko City Chiefs, but it's going to represent Nigeria at the Continental. So which of these four teams, Boko City Chiefs, Lagos Legend, Nigerian Custom, Rivers Hoopers, do you think give a good Africa?
This we might perform Lagos, come to experience thing. So also presentation, all right, on several occasions, and of course they've also gotten, I think, to the semi-final of the competition before, so they know what it takes to play in the Basketball African League. So from what it says, I think Rivers Super still stand a good for giving Nigeria a very, very good representation. If we want to mention Nigerian Customs, they can do their best, but about their performance, they don't really have experience, in the competition, so they might struggle. The last time we saw a team that is not Rivers, in the Basketball African League representing Nigeria was Kwara Falcons. They won the Nigerian League, went to the Basketball African League and couldn't win a game. Disastrous outing, they came back, all right? So for me, if you take a look at it, Rivers Super stand tall comes to a team, give us a good basketball.
Moving on, Olympic they rolled out a new sport administration course for stakeholders across the country at one of its leading institutions, with the focus of enhancing management among players. The sport administration course is an introductory level training program designed for elected officials and paid staff of national Olympic committees, national federations, club managers, physical education teachers, sport journalists, and other professionals involved in sport development, organized by the Olympic Solidarity in collaboration with the NOC. The 3-day course is tailored for key actors in the sport, including sport directors, sport officers, head of sport departments, sport marketing specialists, and games coordinators. Participants arrived on Monday and are expected to depart tomorrow, developed using the framework and the manual provided by Olympic Solidarity. The educational aim of the International Olympic Committee, the course aims to broaden participants' understanding of the Olympic the games and the management of sport organizations. The attendees will gain insight into Olympic values, principles of good governance and effective administration, with the ultimate goal of strengthening athletes' support system in that very one. This is a very good one, a training organized for sport administrators, especially for the Olympic movement, to get them acquainted with the basics of what Olympic is all about. And this is going to be a very good idea, and if we can take good measure to ensure that we imbibe all the knowledge that will come via this training, it's going to add some level of call it professionalism within our Olympic activities. Talk about coaches, sport administrators, physical education tutors, and even some athletes, not also even aside rather journalists. This is going to be an impactful one if we maximize the opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. It's really going to be an impactful one. I think coming late. Why didn't they of long ago? All right. You take a look at two outing at the Olympics, Tokyo Olympics, the Paris Olympics was so disastrous. We were not organized at all. All right. We had, of course, not having a jersey, to participate. Of them, the jersey not even good enough. or have to, some of the jersey fits, the athletes in the end of the day, and they came out to complain. Issues for athletes, of course, being found, some of taking prohibited substance, so prohibited substance found, being found in their body. These are things the national committee should be able to take care of. Before the athlete head down the Olympic game, there should be proper tests to, of course, know that this athlete is clean to compete. At the end of the day, you hear that, oh, a particular Nigerian athlete, a prohibited substance was found in his body and all of that. And the issue time of is not having a bicycle, to participate. All of these things are laws that would have been curbed if, the people at the helm of affairs, have done their job. All of these things we wouldn't have been hearing about. Thank God that happening up with this. For me, I think it's coming late at this point. Better late than never, right? So we'll see what, just hope that they'll be able to implement this, and those, of course, that will undergo these courses, at the end of the day, put up a very impressive performance, ahead of the coming up.
All right, hope that we can possibly maximize this opportunity and build capacity as well as to help improve the level of Olympic Games in the country, because the last one that the country attended, just like Kingsley said, was one to forget in the history of Nigerian sports. We went out there despite spending huge money. We couldn't come back with a single title. It was that bad in that last edition of the Olympic, where Team Nigeria came back with nothing. All right, the chairman of the National Sport Commission, Madam Shehu Diko, has restated the Commission's commitment to strengthening grassroots sport development across the country. Diko addressed questions on the role of school sport in rebuilding Nigeria's sporting culture, stressing that early exposure, structured competitions, and proper coaching are vital to producing future champions. He further emphasized that the National Sport Commission is implementing programs designed to revive sport participation in primary and secondary schools nationwide. So Malam Shehu Diko also trying to, revitalize sport. The idea of going back to primary and secondary school to discover talent, it looks as though they are beginning to wake up from what seems to be a slumber. Going back to the grassroots where you can catch them young is the key. We have been, as sport administrators, we look back into the old days where we get to discover our talents at their very young age via school sport. You talk about primary and secondary school. So with what you are seeing of Malam Shehu Diko, what he's saying in different media, do you think that this can be actualizable, or is it just a paper talk?
Mike, I'm tired of talking about, all right, school sports every day. Every day we come here. The day nothing is done. Whatever they want to do, as a stand. That's why I said, and I'm tired of about. So they think that what you strength, or who you are, do not leave that thing. So that school sports is vital. That school sports is something. Did you leave it? And now you're still, we want to go back to school and that. So for me, I'm just tired of about grassroots sport development every day, and at the end of the day, effort, being done. All right. You talk about catching them young, and all of that. Then you ask yourself, what we do with the National Youth Games? You're talking about going to grassroots. So there are competition that comes up that you could possibly this. What with the national games? What are we doing with the school sports? What are we doing? That don't even just concluded. What are we doing? National Sport Festival? So I don't know how they want to go about in saying they want to, at this point in time. There are different competitions that in outline, catch this athlete. At the end of the day, nothing comes up. You will see during the national games, athletes between the 10 to come up good performance. All right, I think the last one that was a particular athlete that was so very good in gym. I've not, I don't really know what she's doing at this point. If she's back in school, if she's training, at the end of the day. So for me, I'm just tired of talking about it because every day we come here with it, and it seems as if they're not paying attention at this point in time. So we'll just keep our fingers crossed and see what they're about to do this round. She will do emphasizing sport development is working. All right, it's not every day we talk about sport. We have to start seeing things. What is not working, Mike? All right, is it athletics? Is it working about? Which is really working? Oh, Nigeria is really good or known for anything. That's the thing. So when we're saying every day we go back to grassroots, what has been? I'm tired of talking about it. I just want to see what Sheudiko and his men will do this time around.
You see, still talking about Nigerian sport, Kingsley, despite how bad it has become, we can't stop talking about it because we are the purveyor of through changes or change. You see, taking a look at the activities of the National Sports Commission since they were instituted, all right, do you think that they've made any significant impact so far in our sports? Because when you talk about boxing, boxing used to be one of the sports in the 70s, 80s that Nigeria, whenever you talk about global sports, we are up there in boxing. You talk about cricket, one of the oldest sports in the country. It is no longer what it used to be. Go to the angle of Olympics, controversy here and there. Nigerians, dumping Nigeria for other countries in switch of allegiance. You talk about basketball. The senior male basketball team has been in comatose for the last how many years because of leadership. Also, football has gone to bed. In fact, it's in a state of, I don't know what to say, but then you and I know the situation about Nigerian football presently. Will you say that since this institution was instituted by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they have made a significant step that you want to say, okay, there is hope for the future of sport in Nigeria?
I haven't really seen, although they've added, so many things that they want to do. I don't think yet, of course, in office. So there have been so many things being outlined. One, they talked about, of course, putting up, is it a regional sport festival or something that, of course, help, to talent, and also talked about, building football stadiums. So I think in each state, in the country, if that's, of course, will be achievable by the end. So there have been outlined, but they are not visible yet. Will not come to in time. I look at that they're now up to 2 years, of course, in office. So you expect them, you still want to give them time, to see what they can be able to bring to the table at this point in time. Yes, it's a blueprint. This is what we want to do. So we're still expecting to see if will be definitely see those things come to reality at the end of the day. So I mean, it's still difficult to be rates or probably to describe Sheudiko able to find office because they've been everywhere just to outline things at this point in time. So we'll just see what comes about trade. Are they still going to continue with this present government? Of course, because the next election is just by the corner. If it comes and do not of election or whatever, Sheudiko might not be there. These plans will be watered down. That's the thing. And we'll see another person comes in and start replanning, bring that strategy, and that is how it is. So this is the thing we're talking about. This is the thing. How do we grow when things goes this way? So this is the thing. So at the end of the day, we look at this men, they will come, they will at 2 years trying to achieve, and if in the election, another person comes in and we start.
Yes.
So that's the problem.
It is a very big challenge, as you know, it's been very difficult for we to study sports development in the country in the last 4 years. And we are saying, though it is less than 2 years where the National Sport Commission has come on board, but then taking a look at the ideas have actually marshaled out so far. Can this be realistic? Are they visible? Can we attain the high heights again in Nigerian sport? Because, like I said, sport has become an issue in terms of development. Single out the Super Falcons, all right? Then single out the maybe Rivers Hoopers because of their, improvements in African Basketball League. Then single out the male, or rather female basketball team. All right, these are the two teams that probably you say there is a level of progress so far in the last 4 years. Apart from that, in all other sporting strata, can we truly, say that we are happy in terms of sport development? I don't think, and it is high time the National Sport Commission and the leadership rise up to save our sports ecosystem, because I can tell you that it is in a state of intensive care, and if not rescued, sports ecosystem will continue to suffer this crack. There is need for we to straighten these curved lines right here in the country. Sport is one of the highest earner, one of the highest employer of laborers, Kingsley, and this is the key reason, because at a time where Nigeria is facing a whole lot in terms of job opportunities, companies are also downsizing workers just to accommodate their financial strength. A lot, but sport is one key area that provides a whole lot of job opportunities, and this should strike that seriousness in the hearts of our sport administrators to say, okay, if there is serious shortage of job in the country, sport being one of the key tools in providing job, they should take it serious.
Really. And I just hope that at the end of the day, they'll try as much as they can to see what they can do to put in a very good shape. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I think since he came, he's been investing a lot, in sports, been rewarding us, massively. We just that to also metamorphose to we having, massive development. And when I mean massive development, when it comes to having the top sporting infrastructure, and as well having the right affairs, that of course will be passionate and dedicated, committed, of course, to that level, right? So, Mike, one thing that always brings setback as well in sports down here in Nigeria is having people who do not really have the knowledge of running in maybe a federation, or particularly being in any administrative. That's the problem. They're just there. Okay, this one is this one is that. They don't really understand. They don't really know how to take this thing, for that. Take that Danny Gali we've been talking about in the Wrestling Federation.
True.
So how we've seen how he was able to take the wrestling. He is a wrestler, of course, and now in an administrator or the president of the federation knows what to do, because that's what it means for a boxer, for a wrestler to be ready for a competition. Sometimes Danny Gali, he knows what it takes. Sometimes he uses his own to respond, the movement. So for me, I think those are the kind of people we need. People that are knowledge about the game. And then I think with that, it will really help us, in moving forward. And for me, I think we have to, of course, try to, like I was saying, the last, I think Solidary, when he was a minister, when he wanted to leave, he actually put a 10-year football development plan. Today, are we talking about that? So, consistency is the problem. Continuity has been the problem. We'll come up with a plan and to implement. That's the thing. So it becomes difficult for we to, achieve what we've said we'll achieve. We'll say, okay, regional sports festival, we're going to build stadiums across the state. Is it going to be easier to achieve the things? So when the next, probably if they come, they start up with a new idea, and the idea of regional sports festival, stadium building will collapse, and we'll start another thing. So continuity has been the problem. If we want to develop football, all right, we'll find it difficult to actually try to implement that particular plan. If we say we want to make athletics is top-notch in the country, we'll find it difficult to take it up to a very good height. If at the end of the day there could be a means whereby politics at some point will be taken away from sports, that will really help us, in terms of achieving something huge, and seeing that sports development, coming up, I tell you, to be a very difficult one, when it has to do with, sport development country.
I tell you, a lot needs to be done. We have to pay much time and emphasis to this particular disturbing issue, because we are also Nigerians and we are not happy with the way things are going in terms of sport development. The one that has broken the camel's back was the Super Eagles elimination from the World Cup playoff, which has caused a whole lot of raising of eyebrows across the nation by Nigerians sports followers, and it has also caused a whole lot of friction, dissatisfaction, anger, pains in the hearts of so many Nigerians. Some are already calling for a total overhaul of the men at the glass house and other different sporting areas. You talk about the Athletic Federation, they are just coming out of their own challenge, which is still there. Favor Philly, switching of finance, a whole lot, and how to take our time to pay special attention to these disturbing issues, because if we don't, I'm afraid the problems, or the challenges rather, will continue to be there. We must also provide a way forward for some of these major challenges that we face right here in terms of sport development, because if it is good tomorrow, then we also benefit from it. So our sport administrators, we implore you to sit up, as Nigerian sports, like I said, is gradually, if not in the state of intensive care, and need special doctors to, of course, revive it back to life. All right, let's talk tennis, because Italy overpowered Australia in the Davis Cup quarterfinals to move a step, becoming the first nation to win 3 consecutive titles for 53 years. A straight set singles win for Matteo Berrettini and Flavio Capoli, and the victory, an Italian team which dominated despite missing nation's top 2 players in Yannick Sinner and Lorenzo Musetti. Italy moved on to a meeting with Belgium on Friday after their upcoming opponent beat France on the opening day of the finals in Bologna. They will begin that match on the 12th-tie winning streak at the Davis Cup final, stretching back to the group stages of the 2023 tournament. Half of the draw face the Czech Republic before Argentina play Germany on Thursday. All right, let's talk a bit of boxing this morning before we leave the non-footballing stories, because in the world of boxing, we can tell you that Nigeria's heavyweight boxer Anthony Joshua has been told to forget about ever fighting Tyson Fury unless he delivers a convincing victory over Jake Paul next month. Frank Warren, who will be tasked with negotiating Fury's return to ring, says Anthony Joshua must avoid what could be boxing biggest ever upset when he faces a YouTube-turned boxer, Jake Paul, on December 9th and 19th, rather. Joshua, who is 36, is still expected to fight in Riyadh in February before a September showdown with Tyson Fury is eyed by Saudi boxing chief Turki Al-Sheikh plans. However, Warren insists that the former champion must first navigate the Paul fight before thinking that bout against fellow British boxer, talking about Tyson Fury. Anthony Joshua, a lot of talk here. Some have said retire, some have said this could be of reviving back your boxing career. Some have said Anthony Joshua, he must be careful. But then the big challenge that stands before Anthony Joshua is Jake Paul, before thinking of whether to, establish that fight against Tyson Fury. Jake Paul, we've talked about him enough, 13 fight, 12 win, 1 loss. But then in terms of experience, he doesn't have it. He's been more like a show promoter fighter, nothing concrete. Can he upset Anthony Joshua? I think that Anthony Joshua's career lies on this particular fight.
First thing first, Jake Paul, for me, challenge to Anthony Joshua. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. I heard someone saying he should beat Jake Paul first before he thinks of fighting Tyson Fury. That is a yardstick of Joshua fighting Fury at this point in time. Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, they are no match when it comes to boxing experience or boxing record at this point in time. We understand in sports, anything can happen. Jake Paul might just be unthinkable. Yeah. But you want to see it, Jake shouldn't be a challenge to Anthony Joshua. No matter how Anthony Joshua might be, and Joshua, Jake Paul shouldn't be a huge challenge for him at this point in time. So I'm expecting Jake Paul in the 2 rounds.
Really?
Yes, should be able to knock him off. All right? They should be able to knock him off. So if that fight lasts up to 5 rounds, and I know that something is in our time, Joshua should be able to eliminate Jake Paul. Let me not use the word eliminate. Knock him down in the space of 2 rounds. That's the thing. So for me, I think Joshua should just go into this one and get the job done, and of course try to put himself, in order for a bigger fight, come next year. I think Anthony Joshua is even considering this bout as a result of the money of, at this point, the amount of money, of course, in this one. That's why he's considering it. If not because of that, I don't think to pick a fight against Jake Paul, at this point in time. So let's just see what's up in the year. For me, my decision is Joshua knocking out Paul in 2 rounds, in that particular encounter. Challenge, for Joshua, and this, for me, this is the time he has to prove himself once again. He's able to take down Jake Paul in the first 2 in the 2 rounds of that encounter. Yes, you could see Joshua, of course, is we have to see is that aggressive. Well, he's not. Take a look at the last bout against Daniel Dubois. He was not that aggressive at all. So we have to see that Joshua, that Anthony Joshua with that high punch. That's what, of course, we have to see. If that is back in Joshua, and I tell you that bout will not last to 3 rounds, Mike.
All right, so we hope Anthony Joshua is listening to ensure that he closes up this fight in the even 2nd round, so that at least he gives him that edge. I've said his fights, anticipated fights rather, against Tyson Fury will depend on how he performs in this fight that comes up between him and Jake Paul. AJ, brace up, because a lot await you. We hope that he can be able to come out victorious in that very one. But then, at this point, we'll take a quick break, and when we are back, I can tell you that something are also big. It's happening within the camp of a two-time CAF Champions League winner, Enyimba of Aba. We can also tell you that our own Chiamaka Nadozie was the top winner at CAF Gala Night Award last night, and the Moroccan defender Akraf Hakimi, yes, finally is celebrating as we speak right now. But then, these and many more will come your way in the second half. Don't go anywhere, of course. We'll be back in a jiffy. All right, you're welcome back from that short break. Let's talk football on the show because Enyimba have a denied report alleging a 50% salary cut for players after they lost to Wiki Torres, calling the claim false and irresponsible. Although the club parted ways with technical advisor Stanley Eguman, his assistant, due to poor results. It insists no financial sanctions were applied. All right, to take a look at this problem, we are back in the so we are running, behind. On the African continent, Chiamaka Nadozie claimed her third Women African Best Goalkeeper of the Year in last night's CAF award out there in Morocco. Kingsley, good news coming the way of Nigeria, despite the fact that some of us are still not really happy because the Super Eagles were knocked out. But then Chiamaka Nadozie are doing us proud.
Yeah, definitely. I think she's been very consistent. I know this is what we at this point in time from our players. All right, take a look. Only one award yesterday. We saw the likes of Ajiwade nominated, Osimhen nominated. We also saw, I think, the 20 players, a player being nominated as well. I think Chiamaka was the only player that got something. It's for me. I was not happy that at the end of the day it was only Chiamaka that got something, that was able to get the award. I was not really. We should be competing, for this award every year. We should every end of the day, it's actually one for yesterday because in that in the last 2 years we dominated the award. Osimhen won. I think the next one Demola and now Osimhen was also nominated but couldn't win assistant. So for me, think that the arrays of stars we have, we should be up there. Morocco up there everything.
True.
They went to with everything. That's what football has developed in Morocco. Players will it's not taking. We'll be left behind, Mike. We'll really be left behind.
We are not left behind, Kingsley. We just talked about the need for we to start doing the needful. I just hope, because at this point it's beyond prayer, because it's about doing the basic things, and then maybe prayer will just complement. I just hope we are not left behind, just like Kingsley have said. You know, Morocco, they are doing something great and we must borrow a leaf.
Yeah.
Still talking about Morocco, Moroccan defender Achraf Hakimi also won this prestigious Men's Player of the Year award ahead of the Super Eagles striker Victor James Osimhen and the 2023 winner Victor Osimhen rather, as well as a 2018 winner Mohamed Salah. Hakimi's win ended Nigeria's back-to-back triumph, with Victor Osimhen winning it in 2023 and Lukman Ademola also doing same in 2024. Hosted in Morocco for the third straight year, the North Africans won the first two awards for the players. Doha El Madani and the under World Cup winner Othman Mama claimed the women's and the men's Young Player of the Year award. Madani was voted ahead of Nigeria's Shakirat Moshood, who captained the Flamingos to the second round of the Under-17 World Cup in Morocco. New men's Under-20 World Champions, the Morocco Under-20 team, also won the men's National Team of the Year award after taking the world by storm in Chile last month. The award was handed out by former African Player of the Year Victor Ikpeba. Super Falcons goalkeeper Chiamaka Nnadozie also claimed her third Women's Goalkeeper of the Year award ahead of Khadijat Emrechi of Morocco. So Kingsley, Achraf Hakimi, before this award, we actually perused through the achievements, you know, of Achraf Hakimi, that of Victor Osimhen and Mo Salah before the award. And from what you said on a day before the award, it is very clear that you say that if Achraf Hakimi ends up not winning it, then there must be a question mark. Yes. So no doubt, truly deserving for him.
Very, very deserving. If you take a look at everything he Flores, of course, you know, than the likes of Victor Osimhen and Mo Salah, very, very impactful all of the competitions. So I tell you, the man really, really deserves it this time around. He's been consistent in terms of contending for this award for the past 3 editions also. But this season, the last season, of course,
the evening will take our time to, of course, go through the CAF award and serve you the different winners in different categories. But then the most is Moroccan defender Achraf Hakimi winning this year's edition after, you know, being consistently consistent in the last 2 editions. This time, finally, he was able to nick it on the board, and we say a very, very big congratulations to Achraf Hakimi and Morocco for almost sweeping all the awards.
Almost everything.
Almost everything. And Kingsley, just like you said earlier, they are beginning to reap the benefit of the investment and the 10-year plan. In fact, do you know that Morocco had to invite foreign expatriate sport managers to come and train their own?
Yeah.
And then again, it went inside the desert to acquire about 500,000 hectares of land to build some of these facilities today. So I just took our time to do a study did, you know, shortly after they won to open heart surgery in our sports.
Definitely, that's what we need. That's what we did at this point in time. You could take a look at that award yesterday. They won the CAF Men's Player of the Year. They won the CAF Women's Player of the Year, Goalkeeper of the Year. On the 20, I think there was a player that won the Under 20, you know, player as well. So you could take a look at they went home with everything. They could have even got take home the best coach of the year.
True.
You know, because of the brilliance of the man who won it by the Cape Verde coach. So you could see that they were nominated. They were almost everywhere.
True.
So at the end of the day, you could see that they are not, just like you mentioned, they are not reaping things of they sowed at this point in time. And just mentioned, we have to borrow a leaf. We have to borrow a leaf for what Morocco are doing. We have to borrow Africa are organizing football, of course, in their country. That's why I said else will be left behind, because from what we're doing here, Mike, I think things are not done properly. We're not strategic. Do we really have a goal? Do we have where we're going? You know, is there a blueprint of what we were to achieve? The AFCON is just by the corner. What is the situation of things? What's the plan? So it's really, really pointing, Mike. It's problematic at this point in time, because you can see we're not going anywhere. And when you see things happen like this, you know, it becomes it starts, you're not pleased, you're not happy with it. So I just hope that, you know, Shehu Diko, Ibrahim Musa, and the rest of the members should try most of the kind to see how, if not because of anything, let them do it for the future. All right, let us do it for the ones that will come, so that we can also have a better place. You know, a good football system. You know, at the end, what happened back in the days, in the 90s, where we used to, of course, all of a sudden we just. So I still think there's still room for improvement. We can still pick up the pieces and try to put ourselves and see how we can compete with the rest of with other African countries.
We still hope there is hope, even where there seems to be no hope. There is still hope we can remedy the situation and get back to where we ought to be when you talk about sport in the world presently. Because in 1990, Nigeria were ranked 5th in the world. But today, we hear, yes, it is official, not that we hear, it is official that the Super Eagles have moved 3 steps, you know, they have 3 steps up to 38 in the world in the latest FIFA ranking. A good one, but one will say, what will this benefit us after losing out on the World Cup, you know, playoff? But then we hope to see, you know, the improvement in the real sense of it when we get to play in the African Cup of Nations. At this point, this is where we attempted to drop the anchor for this morning edition of the show. I did a show this morning alongside Kingsley Emmanuel. My name is Emmanuel Michael, the Prime Minister of the Airways. When we are back in the evening, we do well to analyze and take time to, you know, roll out some of the key awardees in the CAF Gala Night Award that took place last night, and we'll serve you more of the trending footballing stories when we are back by 6 p.m. Don't go anywhere for now, because programs will come your way. We are out.